Hmm. All right, we're up, and I need to see what we have here and just post the announcement before we start. And there we go. 10Q, pretty good, I guess. It's a kind of a weird way to. Obviously, I'm going to go out this way. That's a really weird way to actually do this, actually. It really is. Um, this is not a good way. This is really not a good way to start. It puts you in a. It puts black in a really, really odd position. Because you can't really do. Like, black's really not getting much on either side here. Um, and it's just not making a very good shape either. Yeah, like, see, this influence, that's fine. This influence, because you have these two stones over here, like, this is actually just really, really bad shape. I'm going to just do this. This is actually just really, really bad shape. I'm also going to do this. He actually does have to answer that. Yeah, like, black just didn't really gain much from this. I think it was pretty much mandatory that he played f16, because now he does have to answer me. I don't really know what he should answer with, but he does actually have to answer me now. I think he's already like, with the sequence, black is already a fair bit behind here. The thing is about trading, you either have to get influence or you have to get territory on one of the sides. If you don't get either one, you're not really doing much besides falling behind. Yeah, this is totally just like really bad for him. I don't know if I should have done that actually, but this is really, really bad for black. I guess this like kills eye space, but I don't think eye space really matters right now. I should have probably just gone somewhere else, but since black has to answer, I don't think it matters all that much. Yeah, see, like, this shape is really poor. Now, I'm not going to bother to attack this because B18 is Sente. So I'm just going to kind of, I'm going to do this. Because I already have some stuff here, I guess. I'm going to jump on this. I'm going to jump up on this one. Um, then I'm going to either, I'm probably going to pincer this stone a little. I'm going to put pressure on this stone. Then jump up more, because I can always attack these two stones if he chooses to take this territory over here. I've already settled. That's a bad move. I've already settled my group here. The heck? Why would you do that? That's really strange. I mean, you can fight the ko with me, but you can actually fight the ko with me, yes. But why would you even want to at this point? That's such a devastating ko if you lose. Plus, I can just not fight it with you if I really don't want to. It's a hugely devastating ko for you if you lose, so I don't think it's something that you would actually do. Like if he, yeah, that's really bad. Okay. Huh. This actually puts me in a bind as well. Because he can actually come up this way now. I think I'm gonna do this. Oh, actually, that's not a good move. It's definitely not a good move. It's bad for me. Should have just connected, but I do want to tighten the liberties here. I feel like I should have probably gone this way first. It's kind of an interesting fight, though. I think this is a highly interesting fight. That actually might not be good for me. Yeah, I should have just connected. He is going to play the ko with me. But the ko is not going to favor me. Yeah, I would have actually probably Atari'd this way. It's a very bad ko for me, actually. I played this fight wrong. Because if I do this, then he takes over that. This is actually kind of dangerous for me here. Because I don't have a ko to actually fight back on. I can take these two. But then he would get this on the bottom. I think I do have to extend this, though. Pretty sure I just played that. I completely played that wrong. Like I said, I should have just connected, but that would have caused more problems over here as well. Not really sure why you would do this, though. It's still not alive. There is like a, yeah, he's doing that Joseki up front. I mean, I do kind of have to do this. Um, yeah, I can. I'm gonna do this. He's still dead overall. Pretty sure he miscalculated this. Because he can't cut. And he's kind of dead either one way or the other. There's actually not a way he can get out of this. Seriously? So there is actually a question of, is this worth it for him? And the answer here is actually no. It's definitely not worth it for him. Because if sacrificing these five on the outside is going to be more painful, even if he gets a couple of points on the inside, it's not worth like giving me Sente on these on the outside. He did actually play a really good. He did actually play like a really good Tasuji thing here, but at the same time, like he's basically killed this on the outside. And what he's losing on the outside's actually going to be a lot worse than what he actually does here. Like, I'm essentially just going to connect this right now to make sure I kill this on the outside. And he still has to fight this Ko with me. Otherwise, his group is still dead. So this exchange actually just made it really bad for him because yeah, he can get a couple of points. He can live this on the corner here, sure. Um, so like if I do this, actually no, I'm just not going to do anything. That doesn't make any sense for me to do anything. I'm actually not going to play that, and I'm actually going to just see. But him doing that is actually Sente, so I'm just going to connect this. He actually does have to do that. Yeah, so he's actually playing Ko with me here. And he's already given up this on the outside. That's very, very bad. I can actually just get 2 free moves, by the way, on the outside. I can definitely just get 2 free moves on the outside. Because like, he's already given me a lot of points and thickness on the outside. And this is just like every single move he makes here is just making this a lot worse. Because realistically, like I get 2 free moves on the outside, and yeah, there's really not much to say. Okay, that doesn't work because I can just Atari here. Like he's trying to find all the Tesujis possible, but some of these just don't really work.
You have won.
Yeah, so let's actually go review this game. This was actually a pretty good play here. I did not actually catch that until later. So I didn't really think anyone would want to fight that. So you pincer here. You actually pincer here. I don't think that's a good move. I think you should just do this, honestly. That is the traditional, like, that is honestly like a much better move than here. It's just one faster. And trading like this and this, trading this and this, like, this is still not very good for you. So I'm not a fan of this particular move. I think E16 is going to be much better than D16. So that's not a good move either. Letting me extend in, I don't know how you would answer this. I personally, I would probably just block off the top here and let white do this and then do this. I feel like that would be my response to this particular play. But this is definitely not good. Letting me extend out and then haneing in, doing that, letting me get this. Here, I feel like this is almost mandatory. There's just too much influence riding on this move. So he does this, I'm going to come up. This is just really bad for him. Like his shape, there's no influence here. There's no potential here. And I get a bit of territory in this thickness. I'm going to do this first. That's not necessary, but you know, whatever. He has to connect. And then I get this move. Like at this point, like I've gained a significant advantage over this kind of like not really Joseki, but Joseki-ish thing. So he pincers, I'm going to jump, he jumps, I'm going to fly in, and then I'm going to pincer. He does that, I'm going to jump out more. This is pretty much always a bad move. All right, this is pretty much always a bad move to do this. Always a bad move to do this. It makes me stronger, and black doesn't really gain anything. The only reason you would do that is to prevent me from playing M16, and I wasn't going to play M16 anyways. So then doing this, haneing up, connecting, that's probably a bad move. I think this might actually be better. It puts kind of like black in the conundrum of what am I actually going to do. So this was actually bad for me, and that's really bad for me. I feel like here I should just definitely do this. That's probably what I should have done. If he breaks out here, you just come up. You're already safe on both sides. So he's just putting, I think he's putting this group in a very, very bad position. So I definitely screwed up there. This was a bad move. This was just me being too greedy. Like I should have definitely played J17. Definitely should have played J17. I mean J18, sorry. So that was just me being, that was just me playing bad. That's bad. I should have probably just connected. This is not as effective. And this might actually kill white, actually. Yeah, so I guess I couldn't do that. So the thing is, like, at this point, I'm in a pretty bad situation because you can just Hane out this way. I do have to respond. And if I actually do, like, if I do this, white can do something like this, and they just squeeze. So if you have to be careful with that. So at this point, if he does this, I'm gonna come out. If he does this, I'm going to do this, and this. I think white is I think white is pretty much alive as long as he plays here. He might be, anyways, because if I do this, you kind of have to respond by coming out again. I think like. I would do this. I guess this is kind of dead, I guess. Yeah, white would actually be really in trouble here. So if he Hane's here, I might just have to connect here, and this is like a big, big win for black. So if you ever get in this situation, that's fine, but you would definitely Atari this way and connect the bottom. And there's not too much. There's actually not too much influence up here. So this is a big mistake by me. Going this way and then trying to connect for the points is bad. I do this, and then this kind of... The code does not favor me, definitely. So like once he does this, I should actually just do this. But this is a big win for black because he separates this out as well, and white doesn't really get much here. So I actually lost pretty big on this. So he does that. I do come out, and that's not good for me. He takes this. I'm going to do that. He takes that, and this is how the variation actually played out. Now, black is actually very far ahead. B18 is incredibly large, and B18 is incredibly large because now this group is really under threat. Like, B18 was going to be my move once I got a free move. I would actually have to do this, and even if he did something like this, like it would be pretty hard for... I mean, it just feels really bad for white. So if I were black, I'm already ahead at this point. There's no need to do that. If I were black, I would do this and heavily attack this group. If I was white, I might do something like this just to protect my eyes. But you know, like for black can do something like that, and then you're kind of like scrounging around to try to get out. Now you could Hane definitely, and you probably would, but it still feels pretty bad for white. And black's really not under threat because he already has this, and he can just play b14 anytime. So this actually feels pretty bad for black. You definitely should take advantage of you should definitely take advantage of B18 at this point because this group is very weak. So this is a bad play this is actually a really bad play. This sequence is a really bad play by me. And I did eventually get the corner, but this is where he starts to go wrong. He tries to save this corner. This corner at this point is not salvageable. And you have to, and also like before you do something like this, you have to look at the state of the game. At this point in the game, black is ahead. And if you're ahead, like, yes, you lost this, but you're ahead. So you should just press your advantage, not try to save a couple of stones here, press your advantage and essentially like attack my group here. Because you can even acquire more of an advantage by doing that because black was clearly ahead at this point. But he does that and he does that. Like, I think black here is just trying to find way too many Tsujis. Black honestly is just trying to find way too many Tsujis to actually like save every stone. Remember, the point of go is not to save all your stones. The point of go is just to have more points than the other person. And having taken these stones already, and even trading me this corner, you're still way ahead. So you would just press your advantage by attacking this group and this group simultaneously. So like which play you make will actually determine on the state of the game. And in this state of the game where black is up by a significant amount, you would just press your advantage and not try to rescue these stones because they're not salvageable anyways. I'm doing that. doing that. I'm going to do that. You should probably just do this. You should definitely look. You should actually just play. This is a wrong sequence. You should actually play P15 because that puts me in a pretty hard spot. If you play P15, I would have to go out first. I mean, this group still dies, but you would definitely get a lot more advantages out this way. So when you do this, you don't do this first. You should play P15 first because that forces me to do this. That forced me to do this, and then you can play something like this afterwards, and it basically it's basic. If you play P15, if you actually play P15 first, it's just much harder for white to answer. Whereas if you play this, it takes away all ambiguity. I know, like when you play this, I know exactly how this works out. If you play P15, it's much less it's much less certain because you have more options. So I'm gonna do this. You're gonna do this. I think this was just a miscalculation. I think this was just a pure miscalculation that you can't. This was basically a miscalculation that you can't cut here. So at this point, doing this, this is desperately trying to save these stones. I'm going to play this. Obviously, I'm not going to connect. I'm going to take first. That's a really bad move because obviously this is dead. So at this point, I would just play the ko. You have a couple of ko threats, but this is just this overall trying to save this corner is what cost him the game because he was clearly ahead before he tried to save this corner. So like I said, you have to pay attention to what the game state is actually in. If you're winning, just press your advantage. Don't actually try to don't try to save every one of your stones because that's going to cause you to lose. You have to be able to gauge the game state and determine that you're actually winning. And if you're winning, just play big moves that would actually make you win more. Saving this corner was not viable, and that's what actually lost him the game. So let's actually play again. So if you're 6 to 12k, you can accept my challenge. I will wait for like 10-15 minutes, and then if no one accepts my challenge, I will probably just leave. Or like if someone outside accepts my challenge. So I am waiting for another game. I would like to play 2 today. I do actually have time to actually play 2 today. So yeah, if you're interested in playing me, please accept my challenge. Also, you can ask me questions on this chat right here. But I am waiting for the next game. It is down here, so if you're 6 to 12k, you can also accept my challenge and play me in a game. Always looking to play new people for content. Also, if you're playing me, you should probably not listen to the chat at the same time. Because then I'm kind of just playing against myself. And playing against myself just feels kind of funny. All right, start on opposite side this time. That's fine. Also, if you're using the AI to play against me, don't, because that kind of destroys the purpose of that's not a good move. That kind of destroys the purpose. That's pretty bad. That kind of destroys the purpose of. That kind of destroys the purpose of these games in the first place. That's really, really bad because if you extend out, I can just force this way. I can extend down, but there's no point. I'm just going to take this. And then I can just ignore you when you do that. Because I've already achieved my purpose. So that puts you behind by a lot. I'm going to do this. If you use the AI, I'm not going to win. I can't beat the AI. I feel like there's been like one person that's actually used the AI against me. Because his moves just look way too much like the AI. I've played many AIs. I kind of know how they move. I've mimicked a little bit of my game on the AIs, but not that much. And I'll explain that in another video why you shouldn't mimic, especially if you're in the STK range, why you really shouldn't mimic the AI all that much. And why it's not really helpful to actually mimic the AI. I'm going to go this way just to have a bit of a base for these stones. And there is actually a really good reason why you shouldn't actually mimic the AI. It's because like the AI plays at a level that you and I will never be able to reach. It's just not it's not possible for you and me to actually reach the AI's level. That's not a good move. Just gonna go down here. It's not a good move because you still have a flaw that you need to fix here, and you're kind of like letting me into your territory. That obviously don't have that. That's at this point that is not a good move. At this point that's definitely not a good move. Your group isn't actually alive yet. I understand you're trying to build the territory over here. That I fully understand. But your group isn't alive yet. And also, there is like literally no way you should just sacrifice this group. It's a little too big for you to just like randomly sacrifice. Now, see, like I've already got solid territory here and here, and you don't really have any solid. Like your territory is not really that solid. You're not going to get the entire bottom. So I'm actually going to invade. Oh, this is a risky. This is a really risky invasion, but I'm gonna try this. I generally would actually just invade here or something though. Like overall, like usually I would just invade here, but I want to see if this. I want to see how he responds to this. So invading here is much easier. You would get the pincer. You would give him this territory. If he Ataris, I'm just going to extend up here. I don't need to. I don't really need to answer that Atari because I can just connect this. Actually, I probably should have re-Atari. No, I shouldn't have re-Atari'd first. That's fine though. This one I am going to re-Atari just so he can't actually connect. So when I re-Atari, you either don't respond or you connect. Because, you know, the thing is, in the end, you're just getting this territory and this. That's also bad. I'm just going to take this. And that basically makes me very strong here. And this gives you, like, I'm just going to do this. That essentially connects me. Well, it doesn't really connect me, I guess, but that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and let you have the corner. I usually wouldn't, but I don't think here it really matters all that much. He has to respond to that. And like black now doesn't have any real potential for more points. So I'm going to come out here and separate these two because influence over here is useless since I already have this group here and it's not really under any threat. Yeah, I'm perfectly willing to kill these two stones in exchange for to give him some influence over here. And that's fine too. I can let him get the couple points over here. That's not okay. You can't do that because I'm gonna Hane first. I'm gonna Atari first. You need to extend this. You either like when I do this, if you're not going to directly cut, which would be a bad idea, you do actually need to extend this. Letting someone Hane this is not a good idea because at this point, like, um, yeah, this is a very very bad idea for him. There's not much territory even if you take this stone, and you're sacrificing a little too much here. That's just not gonna work. You're letting me wrap the entire outside, and there's still no way for you to really survive this because you have too many errors to fix. If you Atari me out, I'm gonna go here, and basically you're just giving me this right now. So that doesn't make any sense. I'm just gonna come out and kill this, and it's Sente for me, and I killed your group. So that's a pretty big win for me. Now I'm just going to come out and um, basically reduce the territory that you actually have. I'm just going to do this because I'm pretty sure he's going to respond, first of all. And that does not make it, like, that's just not worth it for him. I'm also going to take the Sentes here. I mean, he does have to respond to this because this group would actually be in a bit of trouble if he didn't. But, like, you can see that the territory I'm making is just much bigger than the one he's actually making. At this point, I don't actually know what the biggest move is. I feel like this Hane is pretty big, though. Could be wrong. But I do feel like the Hane is actually fairly large. I could just go with these in-game moves as well. Because there's, like, if I look at the board, you look at the board and you're like, there's not that much potential territory to be had anymore. So you could just go for really big in-game moves. I'm going to double Hane on this. Like, him cutting off this group is irrelevant because that group's perfectly fine. Okay. I don't know what the purpose of that was. I'm just going to quietly establish. Make sure I have a good base for all of this. That's fine. It's not really a good move, but whatever. Quietly establish some things here. And make sure that I have a little bit of territory here as well. Because, like, I can let him Hane all of this. There's no potential for territory in there. I don't know what the point of that was. I'm just going to do this. This also, a repair move here also wasn't necessary. There's nothing there. Yeah. It's going to finish off making my territory. I mean, I guess he's trying to get a couple points here and there, but it's not really all that big. I don't think there's a way he can live in here. I just don't see it. I mean, I'm guessing he's expecting me to come down this way, but I don't actually have to do that. I can do this. And even if he lives in here, it's not a big deal for me. Not at this point. The thing is, you don't like with these kind of things. You don't have to. You don't always have to reflexively answer what your opponent actually does. If you're just trying to kill his group, if you're just trying to kill a group on the inside, all you have to do is destroy his eye space. You don't have to. You really don't have to. You don't really have to you reflexively answer everything he does. That's generally actually not a good strategy. I feel like you would play if you were trying to do something, you would actually play P16 first. Not that that's a bad move. It's an actually it's fine as a move, but you would actually play this first before doing this. I feel like this is actually decently large. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. So if he okay, I'm just gonna play this then. It's perfectly fine. Oh wait, did I just mess? I think I messed that up. No, I think he should have played. So here he should have actually played T8 first. I shouldn't have blocked. I should have actually just gone down this way. But this is. I'm pretty sure this is dead now though. Oh, he needed to try to expand his eye first because this is actually like there's a way he could actually get back over here. You see, like when I'm teaching and explaining what I'm doing, I do tend to make a lot more mistakes than I usually do. So I do leave chances to lose. Um, but a lot of times, like weaker players just don't really pick up on the mistakes all that much, or really ever. So generally okay. Because like you have to realize what's sente or not, and playing something like T8 is definitely sente. So that would give you a bigger chance to actually win, to actually live this group. I mean, even that's not enough to win, but it would actually make the game much closer. That's fine. That is actually like a basic rule of thumb. When you're actually trying to make one of your groups alive, you should always pretty much always look to expand the eye space before anything else. I really don't know what that's for. Because generally bigger eye spaces are just harder to kill. Much, much harder to kill. There's nothing I can just connect. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I can believe I can just take this right now and just solve all the issues. Pretty sure I can just go this way and that would be fine. I think E15 would be better, but I don't think it really matters all that much, but E15 might have been better. I think the last one's A4. I don't think that there's any points after that. I don't even think there's any, well, there's this, but I think I'm just going to do this. Just, I don't think there's anything here, but I'm going to do this just for, just to be sure.
Pass. Remove the dead stones. You have won.
Okay, so let's actually go back and review this game. I did make a lot of mistakes in this game, spot playing, but this is fine. That's not a good move. This is where it starts to go bad. Definitely not a good move. And then doing this, I'm not going to respond because if you take two, I can just take one back. So, and this is all right. So you basically gave up a lot of your influence for not much territory, and I got Sente. So big loss for black right there. This is pretty basic. I'm doing this. I don't think that's necessarily a good invasion. It's not too bad though. I feel like I might just do this if I was black just to see what white would actually do. White would probably extend, and then there could be somewhat of a fight here. Could be somewhat of a there could be somewhat of a fight here. This is really going to be on how good your how well you can actually fight. I don't think this favors black, but there is that move, the jump and then do that. That's a really bad move because you're not gaining much from that move. You're increasing your eye space, but trading this move for this move is generally a very bad idea for black. You're letting white come into this territory, and you still have a problem to fix here. So he has to fix this problem. I'm going to extend this because that's a crucial move for shape. Like if black gets Q11, his shape would be much better. So I would do this. If I was white though, if I was black though, I might just do this to see what he does. Now, if I was being white, I would actually do this most likely. Because if you do this, I can just do this. But then this wouldn't be good if black actually played Q12. Because now you have two weak groups. So maybe I wouldn't actually do that. If he actually disconnected here, this actually could put me in a pretty big bind. Maybe something like that. But the thing is, like, white just doesn't have too many liberties here. And the fight isn't that easy. So, like, actually, like, cutting here might actually present me with some problems. because I don't want to leave these two stones. If I do this, eventually I'm going to have to play q12, but I'm not really sure if I could win this fight is the problem. I don't have that many liberties, so I'm not really sure if I could win this fight at all. So based on how good your fighting skills are, q9 might actually be the way to go. That's definitely not the way to go because, you know, like this is one of those moves you use to build your influence, but having that cut is so crucial for white, and removing that, giving white a freebie to remove that cut's a very, very bad idea. Of course, like you can't really trade this for this either because this threatens this group, and now like if you need to live this group, you have to do things like this, and that's very obviously very damaging to black. So yeah, like giving him a freebie to repair this cut, not a good idea. Of course that, and then you just give me this for free basically. Like this is very, very big. Like this is very solid territory for white. This is very big. And if you actually look at the territorial situation right now, black does have Sente, but white already has this territory, and this territory by black is not solidified. I would actually think the biggest move for black would actually be G5. It does put a little bit of pressure over here, but not really, because that group's just fine. But it does actually build up your Moyo and influence here. But however, at this point, white is well ahead. So doing that's not good. Like this is just way bigger. This is just way bigger in my opinion. Like yeah, I can go down here, sure, but you can actually just guard this corner as well. And I think like just this move is very, very big right now. Guarding the corner, that's actually a bad invasion. Usually I would just invade something like, I would do something like this. I don't really know what black would do here. This is actually a very hard invasion to actually answer. I mean, doing that would already achieve my goal, basically. Yeah, you get this in here, but you're not going to have enough territory to beat me. So I just tried this invasion to see how he would actually react. I think my reaction to this might actually just to be like, do something like this, and then try to attack white. I feel like that would be my reaction. Because at this point, I'm already way behind. I'm gonna like when I'm already way behind and someone does a deep invasion, risky deep invasion like this, I'm most likely going to try to kill him, because that's the only way I can win. So that's not good because I can just undertake on the bottom. And I feel like he was expecting me to connect, so he can do something like this. But even this would actually create problems for him. Even this would create a lot of problems for him. Because I can also just cut this way, and he can't do this, because then you get, like, you know, this kind of problem. Or even, like, this would not be good for white, actually. This would definitely not be good for white, because that's dead. But there's a lot of problems here. So, like, there's a lot of problems here, but I can always just choose to extend up. And I should have done this first. If he wants to play the Ko, I would gladly play the Ko here. And he doesn't have that many big Ko threats, and this would be devastating if he actually lost this Ko. So I should have played that first. I'm just going to connect, because this leaves him the bottom. So he does that. I'm actually going to... So, like, here, I might actually just do this. Because what this does is, like, this actually makes these 4 stones very, very weak, and it gives you a good amount of territory here. So I would definitely just play O2 if I was black. Here, this gives me the cut here. That's a bad response. You either ignore me. I would actually just ignore white at this point. Or if you want to respond, you connect. Because this doesn't really achieve anything. I mean, yeah, it gets you the territory down here, but A, there's not much, and B, there's nothing I could do to break this territory anyways. So it gets me this Atari up here. That's a really bad move. I'm just going to take it. I think like the optimal move was actually to do this, but the optimal was definitely to do this, but I just took it because this actually does make this kind of weak here. Do that. There is Aji in the corner here right now. There's definitely Aji in the corner here right now, but I think I just wanted to improve my own strength as well. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come out and attack these two. at this point, because I'm winning by a lot, I'm very, very willing to trade like some territory over here for capturing these 2 stones. Basic moves. That one, I feel like if you're already going to play this way, I feel like you just go ahead and play this way. And then like later on, you might do like this move or try to get some territory over here. Because like going out this way, it still puts your group under threat, and you kind of just like defeated the purpose of playing these stones. That's like, I think like like moves like this, once again, they're used to build influence, and get out ahead, get your head out ahead. But you do have to remember that like white can just Atari first, and that's always Sente. Yes, white does create another cutting point, but you do have, like, your group is weak, so if you cut white, white will just come out this way and attack your group again. Remember, there's not much potential over here for territory, so white's not giving up all that much. So I'm going to Atari first, connect, and then like, here, the thing is about when I come out this way, this group is actually in danger. And if you do this, I'm definitely just going to trade whatever territory you can get over here for these 4 stones. The 4 stones are actually pretty heavy now, and they're going to be bigger than whatever territory you can get over here. So that's a positive trade for white, because after I do this, you're pretty much dead. So that's why you don't really cut here. And that's why black is actually in a really bad position here. Because if you cut and if you cut and then like you try to run this group, I can always just do this, and now your cut's kind of like, kind of crap. And your group here still isn't completely alive. So it forces you to make a really bad decision. So this is definitely positive for me, because I captured this. He gets whatever territory is left over here, which isn't very much. This is just not going to work. This basically just expanded my territory, and black didn't get too much over here. I'm going to do this first. You're going to extend, and then I'm going to fly here to break whatever territory is left. You have to respond there. Just doing this, all Sente moves for me. And then I'm just going to take, like, at this point it's the end game, but since I'm already up by 43 points, there isn't really too much to discuss in their end game. At this point, like, you can see, like, there's not much territory that can actually be had by either side, and the game's pretty much already set. This move is quite big, because it's more of a shape thing here. So I feel like this game, the starting out Joseki was really bad. And then this was a big mistake, just giving me these. You can't invade 4 stones and just give someone these stones. It's too big. Like, you can separate as 2 sides. And I think a lot of lower ranked players think that like separating the side is like key, but giving up these 4 is going to be a lot bigger. So that's just kind of like an evaluation mistake that that's just an evaluation mistake. Definitely an evaluation mistake that people actually make here. All right, that's the lesson for today. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. I will actually be back tomorrow. I need to figure out a way to get rid of all these these spammers on chat. YouTube needs to do something about this stuff. Because I can't check like every 5 seconds on this stuff. So that is going to be the lesson for today. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button, and I will be back tomorrow.